Yo, what's going on, y'all? It's your boy SoSo, in case you ain't know so, and welcome back to another dope episode of Sports with SoSo. Coming to you live, y'all. This week, the Heat enjoy All-Star Weekend in Utah. The Panthers continue to make a little climb for that wild card spot. My favorite basketball team, the Hurricanes, are edging up that ranking. And Joel and I wrap up the Genesis that happened this weekend. It's time to take a ride, y'all. Let's go! You know the meme I just hit you with, right?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
I know that meme very well.
You know?
Hey, bro, when you just nail it, first try, you deserve to hit them with
You got to drop them every now and then.
Shoulder shrug.
Just to let everybody know that you can still do it.
That's it, baby.
You feel me?
What's going on, dude?
Not much, man. It's good to see you again.
Good to see you, likewise.
Right?
Yeah. A couple days in a row here.
Felt like I just saw you yesterday. Oh, shit. I did see you yesterday.
We were together for a while yesterday. Let's just say that.
Bruh, yesterday was a good time, right? Debut game for the opening match for Shankaholics.
Yeah, your debut. You made
my
your debut. Finally playing the league. What were your thoughts?
Honestly, bro, it was a shit ton of fun, man. Honestly, because my quota was pretty fair, right? And you were playing together and right around together. I could have easily met my quota. Two better drives, right? And two better approach shots. I'm definitely meeting my quota, right? Because I wasn't putting bad yesterday. I knocked down like a couple of 10, 15-foot putts, So I felt good about my putting. It's just getting to there was a little bit of the issue, man. But I got to work on some stuff that Coach Sib and I had talked about in practice. Felt good because some of the good shots that I hit were that, including the greenie.
That's right.
With the 8-iron.
A greenie in your debut.
Right.
You just beat Danny, bro. It
was close.
It was too close. Like, we had to remeasure. We brought our rangefinders. Like, we had to walk it out. It was crazy.
Record me doing this so we can get this official.
It was wild.
It was wild, man. But Danny was killing it out there, right? Because almost every part 3 we went to, it was like, yo, Danny. Whose name is that?
Danny. Every part 3, Danny. He was on fire.
But again, for the competition, right, I felt like it was very fair. Right, very even. Anybody can go out there and have a good day, right? Play to their best of their abilities and really put themselves in the top 3, top 2 position and try to win that shit. You know what I'm saying? It's very doable, dog. It's very doable, man. And shout out to your brother, bro. He knocked it out, man.
Shout out to
Javi, killed it, bro.
The dub.
Killed it.
He put up 2 points over his quota.
Yeah, man.
And he took the win. He beat me. I came in at 1 over my quota in the end.
And you hit some really good recovery shots, dog.
Yeah. I posted those online. If you're not following, go follow Miami Golf Pros.
Do it now.
But those were huge for me. And then the putts, bro, those 2 birdies that I had. I mean, the one on 17 on the par 3 was huge because at that point I was 3 points away from my quota.
Correct.
And then all of a sudden on one putt, I go 1 over my quota in 1 putt.
Yeah. And
2 shots, dog. Like, crazy.
It's crazy because if you think about it, Joel, you really didn't play a bad round, right?
I could have played better, but yes, overall,
good round.
Decent round.
Right? Decent round.
For my game.
Especially when we're watching Obi fucking rip 300-yard drives, bro, over and over and over again, That
guy's an animal, bro. He hasn't played in like 4 months.
Surprised he didn't knock anybody out that was playing in front of us, though.
Doesn't play in 4 months and comes out first hole of the day.
Firing.
Eagles
on his freaking first hole, dog.
3 shots into the day.
Hits a bomb of a drive, right? Yeah. Easily 315. Has maybe a 30, 40-yard shot to get onto the green itself. And as I'm walking up to the green, he's like, yo, so I can't see, the hole. Where's it at? And I'm like, can you see this brown patch right here? He's like, yeah. All right. That's about 10 yards to the right. That's where the flag is, and that's where the hole's going to be. Sure enough, as I'm walking down the hill, right? Boop, he hits it. Like butter, baby. His little backboard action right in, dog.
It was beautiful, dude. So, and then Frank followed up with a birdie. I mean, it was vibes yesterday, dog. Out the gate.
A long-ass 40-foot almost birdie, dog. On a declining hill. You know what I mean? Tough putt, and Frank knocked it down. Again, everybody played well enough to their abilities, enough to really compete in the Shankaholics. You know what I mean? So, it's definitely something that I want to continue to do, and obviously more people are going to join, man, because it's a good little time out there, man, with the boys.
I can't wait. Next month's going to be a great time.
Absolutely. Real quick, I wanted to get your thoughts on the Dolphins because we talked about it off air, but I want to get them officially on wax. Vic Fangio's done. We make a signing. He brings over a well-known to his system, right? Assistant. He's going to be the D-line coach or the defensive back coach, I think.
Yeah, and I think we're talking about Ronaldo Hill.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, former Dolphin himself.
Yes.
He played with us back in 2007, 2008. He's coming back now after 1 year as the Chargers defensive coordinator. He worked with Fangio over in Denver and I think in Chicago as well. So, they have a good relationship. And he's coming over here to work and be, part of this coaching staff.
It's wild that he got called. And, people will be like, oh, you're downgrading from that job position. But, when you get to be part of a system that's super successful and your name is attached to it, you want to do that, right? So if he can come in and be part of a defense that's the best in the NFL or a top 3 defense in the NFL, top 5, his name is automatically going to be attached to success, which leads to better jobs, leads to better opportunities. I like that Fangio is already getting to work. It shows that he has a clear vision of what needs to be addressed on this defense in order to make it that. Because I was telling one of my wife's coworkers the other day, shout out to the homie Len, he's killing it. I was telling him, this dude is coming in with a lot of pressure. He has to come in and perform and really make this defense stand out incredibly from anything it's been in the last 10 years because of the talent that we have. This is one of the most talented defenses that we've seen, right? Since that mid-90s, early 2000s, where we had Zach, shout out to him making the Hall of Fame, right? We had Jason Taylor, Young, Trace Armstrong, the vet, Gardner. We had a bunch of people on defense.
Surtain and Madison on both sides.
You feel me? The defense was super talented everywhere you looked. This defense is getting there, right? We just have that one little hole where we don't have a standout player in that linebacker position. We have standout players on the D-line, standout players on the defensive back, but that middle linebacker core doesn't have that standout player. Hopefully we get to, sign one, draft one, see how it goes, right? Even though we're not drafting in the first round. I think that pressure is going to lead to his success and work out for the Dolphins, which allows Mike McDaniels to open up about 3 to 5 more pages on offense because he's going to have the ball more. He'll be potentially playing with better field position on offense where he can put the team out there to score touchdowns like we saw them do steadily in the beginning of the season. The one key factor in that is Tua. How does he look? I heard some rumors on Twitter, or I saw some Twitter, it's not heard, but I saw some Twitter rumors like, oh, they're going to try to bring back Teddy B or, sign a high profile backup quarterback. And in my mind, it's like, if it's not Tua, it's nothing. Because if we're talking about signing a good backup to play 3 to 4 games at this point with the experience that Skyler took on this year, right? Both starting in the middle of the game with somebody getting knocked out and having a week to prepare, right, for a playoff opponent. He's very well capable of doing a backup's job. And truth be told, none of our backups have really stood out in any opportunity given that is worth paying that extra money. I'd rather have the kid back there who's, relatively cheap, not continue to invest in that position, but I'd rather invest in the protection of the guy that we have to keep standing up, which is the guy who makes it run. It's Tua. I'd rather throw that extra $3 million, whatever it is, that would go to that signing into the O-line because we got to fix that. We got to fix that. And we're probably going to lose Gesicki too. So
we definitely are losing him. Yeah, we do need to fix that right side of the line immediately. Especially if we end up putting a blocking type tight end there. Need to shore that up. Need to keep this guy standing up. It's going to be an interesting offseason. Like I said, I think Vic Fangio knows what he has to do here in order to make this defense be one of the best. Got to get a linebacker, like we said, and find some defensive backs that can continue to play even though one of your main guys go down. Because Cahill did a great job of filling in, being an undrafted type rookie and having to come in and do his thing from the word get, played really well. But we can't just depend on him. Nick Needleman, what's his future going to look like? Yeah. A lot of question marks.
A lot of question marks. But I'm interested to see what we do, man.
Yeah, just good to know we have a different, leader on that. The defense, Vic Fangio coming in, been in the league for 39 years, you know what I mean? He, defensive specialist, and then with the tools that we have for him, he coached Brad Chubb in Denver already,
right?
Has a relationship with him, and then you pair him up with a guy like Jalen Phillips and Christian Wilkins,
right?
I mean, we go on and on about these same guys, but it's like we can't wait to see what kind of schemes he can kind of draw up for them, and if he has his guys coming over here, I mean that means people are believing in this Dolphins team
for sure,
and we're just getting that much closer to being a playoff contender.
Not necessarily a playoff contender, but more in the sense of like a serious playoff winner, right? We got to win a playoff series, get to the second round, beat another team, or you know what I'm saying, and make it that type of run for teams to take us that serious, or the rest of the NFL, let me say. But we do have the pieces in place. We know that this is a short-term project. This is not a 7-year project. This is a 3 to 4 year project, because a lot of the guys that we have are either on a rookie deal that expires in a year and a half. Tua, Wilkins, Jalen Phillips, like guys that we're going to have to pay or make. Javon Holland. Decisions are going to have to be made as far as the salary cap.
Jalen Waddle.
Yo. 2 years, shit is going to get really interesting.
You said
Nah, I didn't, but that's another name. In 2 years, shit is going to get very interesting as far as money goes for the Dolphins. Got to figure it out now, ASAP. Let's get into the Heat real quick, man, because they enjoyed All-Star Weekend. I enjoyed a part of All-Star Weekend.
Did you, dog?
The only
be real. Keep it 100 with me.
Man, I did, because of the storyline with the kid who won.
Mac McClung was the highlight of the weekend.
For sure. And then I like to see Hero competing in like the 3-point, but he didn't do that great. 18 points, well, nothing to write home about.
Basura.
Yeah, basura.
It was disappointing.
What made me most happy is that Jimmy didn't go, right? He wasn't selected this year to be an All-Star. That's cool, whatever. We know he's the MVP of our team, right? And he got to rest and get his mind and body right for the second half of the season, along with a couple of the other guys. I felt happy that Bam was getting the love and respect that he deserves on a national spotlight, right? Because when he was playing, they had to talk about him. But other than that, we didn't really get anything out of that All-Star Weekend except a nice break for the guys who
That's
needed
it, and that's what it's become. I think Jaylen Brown from the Celtics put it best when he was interviewed. He said, this is just a glorified layup line.
Right.
And that's absolutely true. We're not seeing the best of the best do what the All-Star game was intended for, which was put the best guys in the league on two different teams, West Coast versus East Coast, and let them ball out for real.
Right.
Forget the injury, you know what I mean? Like you don't really get injured like that regularly, dog. Like, I get it, you don't want to get in something like that. You're doing it for charity or it's for fun or whatever, but it's like, what if we really had an opportunity to see these same guys but compete on the same team against each other at a high level? What would that be like? How much more exciting would that be?
Hell yeah, man. It would be like an Olympic-style basketball game, but on steroids, right? Because the game is so international right now, including the stars that are playing in that game, right? But it would still be high scoring because you're talking about the best of the best, dog. You know what I mean? Like, Joker could run the pick and roll with any one of these guys that are on the floor with him at any moment, and those guys are going to be able to knock down a three from a very high clip. That game is still going to be high scoring, but at least it'll look like a basketball game. It won't look like these guys are just eating shit in a gym.
Yeah.
Not a product that the NBA should be serving, especially when you have so much young talent like they do have. Let them dudes play, man. They played against each other in high school, college, and now in the pros.
But I think that
you got to make that game worth something, especially if you're paying top dollar to be out there, dog.
Yeah, no, but I think that they do make it a spectacle and everything. Right before the All-Star game, you got Post Malone and 21 Savage doing the pregame show. Who's your crowd? Who are you targeting? That's literally your demographic. The whole thing that they did this year with the draft, the live draft right before they pick the players, and then they kind of take a break and they come back and play, and then that each quarter or half or whatever is worth a different amount.
True.
They're changing it up. They're trying to do something different.
They are.
I think they're doing it better than the NFL is. That's for sure.
Yeah, well, some would rather watch the 7-on-7 than the basketball game. If we're talking about the actual game, because
maybe after seeing this year's format, that's also new. That's what the NFL is now coming to terms with. Is like, we got to change it up since the Pro Bowl wasn't working out. But hands down, best All-Star weekend
goes to the NBA for sure.
Nope.
Who's that?
Major League Baseball.
Yeah.
Because they got the home run derby first and foremost.
You got a celebrity softball game, which is cool.
Softball, which is straight, But the big thing is that, well, not anymore, but at least back in the day, it used to mean something. It used to mean home field advantage in the playoffs.
Yeah.
They changed that now, but they still play it out. It's not like pitchers are still throwing heat. Guys are still, trying to strike people out. I think they changed that, but they still play all out because it's non-contact.
Right.
Basketball is not really a contact sport, so you're soft for not playing the game at a high level. Anyways, I digress.
Yeah, man. No, I'm with you, man. They got to do something to improve the quality of the game, right? At least let those dudes run plays and play against each other. Let them play against each other. That's all we want to see, Back to the Heat. They made some big news this weekend as well. Sunday, while we're golfing, we got the notifications. Kevin Love completes the buyout from the Cleveland Cavaliers and intends on signing with the Heat, which he officially did a little ago, officially in Miami with Miami Heat gear. Now, when the news came across for me, it was like, damn, this is the low-key move that probably works out the best for the Heat because it's not the most threatening move, but if it works, it has the highest potential of being important to how this team can go in the playoffs. We've been saying for a long time that we need a stretch four. A guy who can stretch the floor, hit a couple of threes, still be a big body, defend, be able to get back and down, and help Bam play against bigger guys. Right now, Kevin Love is averaging 6.8 rebounds on the season. This is a dude that hasn't played since January 24th, and since then, there's been a lot of speculation as to, is he in shape? Can he do it? Can he not do it? Which is a big problem if the Heat say, hey, we're going to sign this guy right now and we're going to try to implement him into our immediate lineup because we're going to need that, right? We're going to need that guy to come in, hit shots, play some defense, grab some rebounds, and spell Bam whenever we need to give Bam a break. Can Kevin Love do it? I think so. I like this move better than the Russell Westbrook move, than trying to trade for pennies on the dollar, because theoretically it's the exact same position that we needed, Doug. Like, there's just no other way to put it.
We've been saying we need a big. We need another big versus a smaller guy. That's why you didn't want Mitchell. You wanted a bigger guy. We didn't get anybody in that whole deal. There was a lot of people moved around, and now with this, after trade deadline, it's like, all right, we're not really going to make any moves, but lo and behold, there's a couple buyouts that have been taking place, including Russell Westbrook's. But instead, the Heat end up going with a different UCLA Bruin and Kevin Love. And it draws a couple questions because it's like, number one, what can he bring to the table? And I think you just answered that, right?
Right.
He can stretch the floor, he can shoot the three, defense. He isn't a past champion. But then the question comes up, his age, does that come into play? Is he still able to produce at a high level? Do we need him to produce at a high level?
Right.
And then another thing is, at this point in the season, is Kevin Love the answer for the Heat?
Oof. What the hell, though?
To make it now, to go from a team that was, going to be a middle seed, to be able to, even if you're going to middle seed, can we contend now with the Brooklyn, with
the Knicks,
with the
currently
with the
ahead of us
Celtics?
right now. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Can we compete with all those guys?
I mean, I don't think
Kevin Love.
I don't think it makes us competitors with the Celtics. They're clear and outright the best team, right? We can match up with Philly now, right? We definitely can match up a little bit better with Philly now. Because, again, if we're talking about fourth quarter minutes, we can save Kevin Love in those other 3 quarters and say, all right, kid, get ready to play the last 8 minutes here because we're going to go hard. We're going to go with our defensive unit lineup that can hit threes. If you think about what else Kevin Love brings, right, something that I always feel is an important thing is his experience, his locker room presence. Kind of calm things down in the locker room and be like, yo, this team is great. We're about to fucking go on a run. Right? Even though we had lost our 2 games heading into the All-Star break, I still felt like the Heat are always within reach, right? They're right there to get the victory, and sometimes they let it slip. Having Kevin Love on the floor in the fourth quarter during important crunch time, that's just another experienced player who says, I'm not going to get flustered. I may not be able to run the fastest, jump the highest, be the strongest, But my experience and my tempo is going to allow this team to operate a lot smoother. Now we can run the pick and roll with another guy because Kevin Love is a great passer and he can knock down shots. You know what I mean? So, like, we can run it with Bam. We can run it with Kevin Love. It's very interesting, again, the dynamic that he brings to this offense and defense currently. You look like you want to say something, Don.
No. I'm listening. I'm really intending to listen. But yeah, I agree, man. I know that there's been some questions as far as, is this the right move? I think Heat fans are really concerned with, is this the guy? Out of all the moves that got made this season, all the players that got swapped around different teams, we end up with Kevin Love. Move nobody really ever saw coming, but it kind of does make sense. Short term, we're not trying to sign 34-year-old Kevin Love to a long-term deal. We need something right now. We needed a big man. We needed a four to help Bam.
Right.
And we're getting, a guy that I think still has, Pat Riley would probably look at him and say, that guy still has some good miles on him. You know what I mean?
For sure.
We can still get a lot out of Kevin Love, especially to what you just noted. So I don't know, man. I'm excited. There's also the talks of Cody Zeller as well. I don't know if you've heard anything else about that.
I haven't yet, but it's probably going to get announced by Wednesday. That way he can be here, sign with the team, and then practice before we play on Friday.
That's another big right there. That's two, an acquisition of two bigs in 1 week, something we haven't done in the last 2 seasons.
And not just a big body, right? It's what the big body can do for us, right? Cody Zeller's another guy who can hit corner threes, right? When you leave him out there and you don't cover him, he can hit a three-pointer for you. And his presence of clogging up the paint, where you don't need Bam to be down there to grab a defensive rebound if he's defending the wing player or letting him put up a shot, right? Defending a shot, and Bam's not in the paint to grab the rebound. Instead of like a center going up against Jimmy, I'd rather Cody or Kevin be the guy trying to get that rebound, right? Russell Westbrook probably wouldn't get that rebound. John Wall probably wouldn't get that rebound. Any one of those other type of guards, Donovan Mitchell probably is not getting that rebound, especially after defensive type work of a 24-second shot clock. I trust in that type of framework because those guys have done it. We've seen Cody being on other playoff teams and support and do his job. I think he can do that to a T for us. And I feel like Kevin Love has been the type of player that we were looking for. The only difference is that now we only need him for another 25 games, 30 games? I think he can do that. I think he can handle that pressure, right? He's almost the same age as Russell Westbrook anyway, so we don't know what type of condition he's in, but if he's in any type of good condition, he's going to be a plus, dog. There's no way he's going to be a minus because we know what a minus looks like on this team.
Yeah. No, there's definitely a lot of upside. And going back to Zeller, too, you have here on the notes, he was teammates with Oladipo at Indiana, which I forgot about.
Yeah,
so we already have that chemistry. And Oladipo, we saw how well he's been able to mesh with the Heat culture. That should, bode well for, potentially signing Cody Zeller.
Come into his locker room, hold us down. Now, again, if we're talking about a second unit, if we're talking about a first defensive unit, Kevin Love is playing with Bam and Jimmy, right? We'll have Hero on the floor, and then you give me a combo guard. Any one of them, right? Struz more than likely. That defensive five is nasty. Pretty good defensive five right there, right? It may not offer a lot of firepower, but you got a good defensive five. Now, if you're talking about a playoff lineup or a second unit lineup for the playoffs, I feel comfortable with Victor Oladipo and Cody Zeller running the same play of the pick and roll. Because Cody's going to be able to hit a couple of those jump shots. That's what he can do.
You don't like Depot in the starting lineup? I was kind of shocked that you didn't throw him in there, actually, that you threw Strus in there over him.
The problem with Oladipo for me is consistency. I thought he was going to be better consistently than Strus. Strus has been struggling as of late, but I thought he was going to be head and shoulders better than all of the rest of the guards.
Strus has been struggling all season.
Because of what we've seen him do. We know what type of player he is. We don't put that expectation on Strus like that. That expectation is definitely on Victor Oladipo.
No, I think it's on Strus too from Heat
I
fans.
get it,
We've
but
seen him do it at a high level in the playoffs. So it's like, where has that been this year? His three is game-changing, and it's like we haven't really seen that from him this year.
We can say the same thing about Hero, right? But then we look at Hero, and he's a 20-point scorer.
Correct. That's why I don't say it about Hero.
Man, I get you. But with the Victor Oladipo and Strus thing, I just think that one comes with a bigger expectation. Because of the money, because of who he is, the name, and what we were expecting from you. I feel like we already got the most out of Max Strus. Not just this season. Like, as his Heat career. It's not like he's going to turn into some super guard, right, and become one of the top 25 players in the NBA. We know that's not happening. Victor Oladipo was supposed to be one of those type of guys. And that was one of the big things in us getting him here, right, to say, we want to see you get back to that form. He hasn't gotten there, in my opinion, close to it.
Not yet, no. But he has.
How much more time does he need?
I mean, we got to. How much time is he going to get? Is the rest of the season to prove
True.
it? You know,
and the playoffs.
Exactly. You know, that's what I mean. The rest of our season as we know it. You know, because he's right now averaging, I think, 11 points a game,
right?
3.5 rebounds, 3 assists, and shooting 40% from the field.
What's he done in his last 10 games? Does it have it?
No, I don't have that in front of me. But it's those numbers don't stand out. But I think there's also value in his defense that he brings to the table, which was why I raised the point. You know, just a question: why wouldn't you want him in there as far as that defensive
percentage wise? The percentage wise probably says to put Strus in there as a better 3-point shooter. Mm-hmm. Percentage wise, right?
But that's offense. We had.
I get it, but defensively, they're on the same level. Maybe Victor has them by a little bit.
That's all my point was.
A little bit defensively, but it's not enough to separate,
Sure. Well, when do we play again?
Well, we got a tough stretch, if I'm being honest, dog. We playing in Milwaukee on Friday, right? We don't know if Giannis is going to play.
We don't play till Friday.
We don't play till Friday. I don't think the NBA kicks off again until Thursday, but don't quote me. I don't have the NBA schedule up. Sorry, I'm looking at something else. Saturday we play back-to-back. Friday, Saturday at Charlotte before coming home on Monday while we record against Philadelphia. Tough opponents, dog. Tough opponents. Heat are currently 32-27, 7th in the East, half a game behind the Knicks, the hated Knicks. Gotta get at least 2 of these victories on the road.
Which road wins, as we know.
You know what I'm saying? Like, fuck.
They're hard to come by.
They're hard to come by, and I don't see us really kicking off the rest of the season like that. Milwaukee, we know how great of a team they have, right? When Giannis is on and he's playing, that's always a matchup, especially equal to how Bam is playing. And then you talk about Charlotte, a team that's not having a really good season. They only got 17 wins, but those type of teams always trip us up, especially on the road where we're leading in the third quarter, and then fourth quarter comes around, nobody can hit a shot no more. And it's like, what the hell just happened? How do we lose to one of these whack-ass teams?
Lose all momentum going into the game every time.
Yeah. 2-game losing streak, got to break that. So if you're going to win an important game, you got to win the game against Milwaukee because it just keeps you in the race for that 6th position, right? And keeps the division wins up. It keeps the conference wins up. Better record. And then beating Charlotte, which is a bad team, should be able to make it 2 in a row before coming home and face a Philadelphia. Possibly be able to gain some ground on them too. Can the Heat win 3 in a row? SoSo says yes.
Oof. All right.
Impress me, man. I'm giving this team an opportunity to impress me. I really want to see what Kevin Love does on this team, man.
Will he be playing this Friday?
Absolutely. I'm sure. He signed today to get, because everybody's coming back by tomorrow, so by Tuesday. So today is Monday. He signs. He's in the office, gets to work out a little bit, get familiarized with the building and the arena, right? His route from where he's going to be living. And then Tuesday, everybody's reporting for practice or at least coming home. So if you know that Jimmy says, hey, guess what? We're going to go practice with Kevin Love. Everybody's showing up to the gym to practice with Kevin Love.
Hopefully we see him this weekend, man.
Yeah, man. I'd like to see Cody sign too by Wednesday. If we can get that guy in by Wednesday, I would love to see him, play against Milwaukee in a backup unit role type scenario.
Well, just something I was looking at earlier when you said I thought I wanted to say something. Caught my attention is Milwaukee actually just signed the next Heat player.
Who's that?
Myers Leonard.
Whatever.
I know. I just thought it was interesting.
It is quite interesting.
He's been on a 2-year hiatus after he made some
dumbass comments.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good luck, man.
Good luck to him.
Good luck to him, man. Good luck to him, man. He's gonna need it. Panthers need our good luck too, bro. They definitely need it.
No, I've kind of fallen off on our Cats.
Yeah, man. Me too,
Gatos.
Man. They had some momentum like going into All-Star break. We didn't talk about them last week because they had lost so many close games, and it was like, well, these Panthers are pretty much back to their number one thing, right? Being inconsistent. And, recently when I was checking them out this weekend, obviously there's no NBA. I'm watching their games a lot more, and they've won 2 out of the last 3 games. Now, granted, the one game they lost, they got shellacked by Washington, 7-3, and weren't really even in that game. But, at least they're back in the wild card, right? And they're leading the wild card. They're up 1 game or half a game on Pittsburgh right now. But this team is like seriously falling off from where it used to be, right? Yeah. They're 29, 25, and 6 this season. That means they have 6 overtime losses. Barely 500, right? For a team that has so much talent. Currently 1 point ahead, like I said, of Pittsburgh in the wild card for that first spot. Yeah, just weird to see them, because, again, the guys are performing. Carter Verhaeghe has 30 goals on the season. Matthew Tkachuk is right behind him with 26. Tkachuk is leading the team with, I believe, 38 assists. Killing it. Most points on the team. Talent is there. Barkov, 16 goals, right? Playing well. Reinhardt, playing well, 21 goals. Just stuff that you would look at and be like, wow, this team should definitely be better than what the record states. And it's just the inconsistencies that kills this team, dog. You win against the Capitals 6-3, right? Like I said, it was important because, they're also in that hunt of the playoff wildcard spot, Washington, that is. And we beat them, jumped ahead in the standings, right? Win 6-3, very impressive. But then you follow that up with that shellacking at Nashville, 7-3. And you're not even in that game, Went down 3-2 in the first, and it was a wrap.
What's going on with our goalies, dog? Why are we giving up so many goals this season?
I used to think that it was the defensive line, but maybe there's a lack of confidence. I know that Big Bob's been hurt, and for whatever reason, Spencer Knight just doesn't have that same flair that he came in with last year.
2 years ago, I think, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's been a year and a half that he's been with this team, right? Because we brought him up towards the second half of that season that you're talking about. So then last year was his first full season as a backup. And then just this year just has fallen off, man. And I don't know if it's a lack of concentration. Maybe the pressure's getting to him. But
that's tough to win a game 6-3 on the road and then bounce back the next night and lose 7-3. It's like that's a taste of your own medicine right there, dog.
Absolutely, and you're still -1 on the goal differential, right? Because you're like, damn, collectively they scored more than we did, right? You can't say, damn, we're a team that should be taken serious, like on paper would suggest, than what the results are showing you. Because even when you watch Panthers hockey, dog, you know that there's going to be a bunch of goals, either for the Panthers or against the Panthers. It's fucked up to say it like that, dog, but that's how it's been for these past couple of teams. Because look, even today, they were playing today in a midday game, President's Day, right? And
shout out to the presidents, dog.
Yeah, for real. Shout out to all the presidents, dog. The whack ones and the good ones.
Yeah.
Old ones and the new ones. And have a lead, lose the lead. No, go down in the first period, yet again 1-0. Come back in the second, play really well. Go into the third, go down, come back to tie it, and then win it in overtime 4-3. Just to fight to get that freaking extra point, dog.
Barely winning.
Winning,
dog. But barely.
Barely, That's not a team that is really going to make noise in the playoffs.
Now we're struggling right now to keep up with the rest of the league.
What the hell is the GM going to do? What the hell is Zito going to do? Because he made the coaching change. You can't change coaches again.
Yeah, and he has a winning record right now. Granted, it's not a fantastic record, but he's still not 6 feet, but been underground right now. He still has some room.
Nah, it can't be like that, dog.
It can't be, unfortunately, but that's what it is. We gotta either see what he does with the rest of the season before we make a decision. Or,
somebody has to get
shake
fired.
It up. I don't know.
Somebody has to get traded, fired, something.
Maybe a trade. When's the trade deadline? Do we know?
Nah, I think it's happening right now because I saw a couple of trades being announced for other teams. I saw the Rangers made a move. The Capitals also made a move. I haven't seen the Panthers make a move. So does the GM look at it? Zito look at it and say, "I've already invested in this team. What else?
Right, that's what I was thinking.
What else do you want me to do, dog?
Right."
You want me to get the world's greatest goalie también, dog? Like,
figure it out, bro. You got the team.
You got the team here.
We know what they can do. Look at the last 2 seasons.
There's no excuses, dog. There's no excuses for how bad this team has been this season.
Right.
You know, they just have to own up to sucking, pretty much, dog. That's what it comes down to, dog. And they got a little bit of a rough schedule because now they play Buffalo, and then follow it up with Tampa Bay.
Oh my God, we gotta play the Lightning.
Yeah, Tampa Bay in Tampa Bay.
Oh
you know,
my God.
But they have their next 7 to 8 games at home. You know, they only really have to go. Look at that. A whole month of March is pretty much going to be at home.
Yeah, maybe we're ready to another game.
Maybe if they start winning. I want to wear my Panther shirt, guys. Let's get it together.
We know I want to wear my hat.
Bro, I looked at it today and I was like, oh, that's right. These guys suck.
Maybe we'll go to a game. We'll see if there's a good game. Maybe against a shitty opponent so that we have a better chance of winning.
I'm looking at some tickets right now. We can do it. We can do it. You know me, dog. I'm always about it.
Yeah, hopefully we see some better hockey here.
You know what's a game we should go to if you can this weekend?
Who's playing?
FSU, Papo.
That's this weekend?
Yes,
what
sir.
Day?
It's Saturday.
Oof. They're what time?
We'll talk. Yeah, we'll talk. There's a
what
game.
time is the game?
I think it's at 2:00.
It's a day game?
It's a day game. They're always a day game on Saturday. A lot easier.
We'll talk after the show.
We'll talk. But
damn, so playing FSU.
Yeah.
What are we?
I mean, FSU sucks, though. We're going to go out there and see a blowout this year.
Sure. What are we ranked right now, though? I know last time we were climbing, last time we got together.
Well, we were 15th the last time we recorded, right?
I think we were 19th, trending to 15th.
No, we were 15th in the AP and like 13 in the coaches poll, right? That's what it was.
Okay.
And then we obviously have impressive wins, right? We beat Wake Forest at home on Saturday. Now we're 15 or 16 and 0 at home this season, which is crazy. But yeah, this team has really ripped off 6 victories, impressive victories in the ACC, improving their record to 13-4, right? Really solidifying themselves as a serious contender in this year's tournament, dog. And not only a serious contender in this year's tournament, a serious contender for ACC dominance, right? Because for everything that Virginia has done, we see the rankings come out this week, and the Hurricanes jumped up to number 11 in the AP. You know, that's a big leap to do, especially in the top 15, because at that point, like, you're talking about the best of the conferences, right? Where each conference has maybe 2 or 3 really good teams that have a bunch of success in the season and are looking to knock each other out of the NCAA tournament. The Canes are being talked about like that, dog. Like the last bracket that I saw them in, they were a 5th seed. This Hurricanes team, a 5th seed. That would already be a 3 seed improvement or a 4 seed improvement from last year's team, which was pretty good and made the Elite 8.
Did you say that we were 11 in the AP?
I believe so. I saw it they posted it on their Instagram today.
I'm looking at it now on CBS Sports. It says we're 13th. Previous was 15. Now we're 13 behind Gonzaga and Tennessee and Marquette. Those are 12, 11, and 10. So I might have the wrong one, though. It says 6 hours ago for AP Top 25. But anyways, I mean, we're getting closer to that top 10. It doesn't seem, though, like, you know, unless something crazy happens for people ahead of us, that won't break the top 10 before the tournament. Just
got to keep winning, really, right? And show that dominance that they've been able to do at home, you know? Showing that dominance that they've been able to do at home has really been key. Yeah, you see it? It says that USA Today Sports, has them ranked 11th. So, yeah, you're right. This team is really being acknowledged by the nation as a serious threat to everybody else, because we really do have a defensive type team. It's not the best in the ACC. We had that stumble in those first 11 games of the ACC where we had a little bit of an identity crisis, right? Because we had a really good out of conference schedule and we got some good confidence wins through that. But then when ACC play started, we weren't as focused as we are right now. A 6-game winning streak, dog. That's not easy. Straight conference play, right? Dominating at home, not losing a game at home, and then going on the road to beat teams like North Carolina and stuff like that. Like, come on, dog. We're seeing an evolution of this basketball program, and it's happening before our very eyes, dog. Scary to see, man.
Well, we got stars, man. We got some kids that are doing really, really well this season.
Yeah. No, Isaiah Wong, bro. I'm so glad that he came back this year, because the night that we went to see him live, he didn't necessarily have his best game against Duke.
He wasn't.
He still ended up with 10 points.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Wasn't nothing to write home about that day. And he still came up with 10 points. This game against Wake Forest at home on this past Saturday, dropped 27 points, 9 of 16 from the field, including 7 of 9 from the free throw line, just making clutch after clutch basket. And Nigel Pack, man, wasn't going to be outdone that day, dog. Had 24 points himself, killed it from beyond the three, 50%, 4 of 8, and, made his two free throws just to kind of push the offense forward, because it doesn't necessarily mean that this team is going to always win offensively, even though they are number 1 in points per game in the ACC. I think they average about 79.7 points. Number 1 in field goal percentage, or at 48%. Third in point differential, plus 8.5. That means that not only are they winning, they're usually winning with space and room. We saw it against Duke. Duke started to make a little comeback. We're going to push away. We saw it against North Carolina. North Carolina started to make a little second run in the second half. Push them away. Hey, we're going to win this game by 9. We're going to win this game by 10.
Definitely all the ingredients to be a top 5 seed.
Dude. And believe it or not, that's actually probably the best, because now you get to feast on these other teams, right, that are middle of the pack. You can go out there knowing that you're better than them, and you can go out there and feel confident, like, all right, we can beat these guys and advance. Beat these guys and advance. And now the only real testament or test of a game would be against a number 1 seed, a number 2 seed, or a team that knocked out a number 1 or 2 seed, right? So it kind of gives you a little bit more confidence, especially in tournament play. I think that if they do get a 5 or 6 or even potentially a top 4 seed, which is not crazy saying it, if they do that, they probably end up in the East region. If they end up in the East region, oh man, get ready to travel, dog, because Hurricane fans are going to be flooding wherever they're playing.
Love it.
Flooding it, because again, this is the birth of a program that is continuing to bring in talent and produce talent to win. Maybe they don't go on to the NBA, but you can see the development stage by stage, player by player on this program, and it's exciting to see, man.
Thank you, NIL.
Yeah, man. Thank you, NIL, bro, because now we got 2 amazing programs to look at, right? We got the football team and we got the basketball team, even though the baseball team is looking like a real serious contender.
And the women's basketball team is
always
crazy.
It's crazy. But for the Canes, like I said, they got a game on Saturday against FSU, but before that, tough road test, right, against Virginia Tech.
Tonight?
No, that's going to be on Tuesday. Well, yeah, tonight by the time they're recording. Don't wink at me, punk. You can't even see it, dog. By the time they play this on their headphones, yeah, we're going to be playing Virginia Tech. And that game is going to be important because you don't want to lose focus ahead of that FSU match, right? That's your rival. Yeah, you want to beat those guys, but you also got an important game against Virginia Tech. And they've been
huge game.
And they've been kind of hot lately. 1-2 out of the last 3. So you got to stay focused with these guys. I want to see how Coach L and the team responds to that. It's going to be great to watch, especially that there's not going to be any NBA, and I'm definitely not watching XFL. Hey, I said it, dog. I said it. I'm not watching that shit. And then to come home and play FSU, rival, beat their ass, finish the season undefeated at home would be really nice before they wrap up on the road against, I think, Clemson or Pittsburgh. I think it's Pittsburgh. Should be nice, man. It should be nice.
Oh, yeah, man. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit more about the FSU game later on Saturday.
Yes,
let's
sir.
talk about that. Let's wrap it up with a little bit of golf. We started it with golf, right? We might as well go full circle. The Genesis Open, hosted by Mr. Tiger Woods.
Yes, sir. The Big Cat was back in action this week.
The legend, man. And it was crazy to see him play so good, in our opinion, right? But to his level, was so bad. He missed so many easy putts that would have easily boosted him into the top 25 of that tournament.
Yeah, but I think, it being his first action since the Open last year at St. Andrews, which we're talking over 6 months, and his first PGA tournament in over 2 years, since before he got hurt, at the Genesis event, 2 years ago or whatever. Makes the cut. He kind of teeters on the cut after the second day. Kind of had a kind of a shaky round, the second round, and barely makes the cut after the round finishes on Saturday morning. Actually, round 2 didn't finish till Saturday morning
because of the rain and shit.
And then he ends up making the cut at +1, and then he goes out and he has a day.
Great
on
day,
Saturday, dog. Like it was old Tiger.
Dropped
but yes,
3 10-foot putts in that round.
Yeah. But it was the putter. The putter didn't cooperate the other days, including Sunday. Sunday wasn't great either. But it was just nice to see Tiger out there. He hosted the event. It's Tiger. He's playing. He's gonna have eyeballs on him. The galleries were huge. You would think it was a major tournament. But besides the big cat being back, what a hell of a tournament, dog.
Bro. I was really impressed by how Mitchell kept his head from the third round to the final round, right, and stayed in contention. He kind of like saw it as a possibility, and then say whatever he said to himself was like, "I'm going for it, and I'm gonna try to play with these big guys and try to get this dub." I commend him for that. We saw, like we talked about, we saw him like when he fell off a little bit. He kind of got to him, but he still ended up in a position where he's like, I did great and I finished off strong, right? He made that final final bird and to give himself that fifth position.
He did. He got himself solo fifth on that, but he kind of gave up a few. It was a conversation earlier in the day. It was like, all right, it's Rahm. Everybody's chasing Rahm. You got Homer right behind him, the California kid. Can he make the comeback? And then Mitchell was the next third. And then, he ends up getting a couple bogeys and kind of messes up. And then Cantlay is playing well behind them, and he steps up. Jason Day, another guy that's been playing really well as of late. I think he ends up in solo fourth.
Yeah. Zalatoris shot a 64 that round, dog.
Zalatoris was playing well that day too. I mean, you had a lot of guys that were charging up the leaderboard on Sunday.
Yeah.
And then that back nine got interesting because then, early on, Rahm drops a shot all of a sudden. Homa is now in the lead, and then Homa makes a mistake, and Rahm makes a bomb of a putt, and he ends up, tying it back up. And then, sure enough, he just kept his foot on the gas all the way through the end of the tournament.
What's funny is that you and I were talking about, or the guys, we were discussing it while we were putting, right? And we were like, well, who has the chance to catch John? And we were talking about it, and I mentioned to you, well, Holman looks like he's been playing well. He might have the momentum behind him to make that interesting. And you were like, I don't know, Rahm was going to have a bad day. And
if it was just anybody else, I would have agreed with you. But being John Rahm, it's tough to bet against him.
It's tough to bet against him. But like we were discussing, he left the door open a couple of times for Homa to get in there, and follow up his Rahm's bad shot with a great shot by him. Yeah. And he missed those opportunities.
Yeah, he couldn't shift the momentum.
He couldn't. And it sucked because it almost felt like he was going tit for tat for him, especially in those last four holes, right? He was definitely going tit for tat for him, but he never took advantage of that door being a little bit wide open. Tiger Woods would have fucking made at least 3 birdies in those last 4 holes because he would have said, oh, this dude missed his drive left. I'm going to smack mine maybe 300 yards, maybe not the full 325 that I could hit it, but I'm going to get it 300 yards down the middle of the fairway to put some extra pressure on his second shot.
No, and if you look at the other side of that, if it was John Rahm in that position where, because I'm thinking about one hole in particular, and it was when John Rahm sprayed it to the left, and then Homa immediately hits it into the trees, and he has to hit it like another shot up by the green and try to get up and down for par. I think he ended up being a bogey on that hole too. It was a mess. But, I think if Homa's, hits that drive to the left that Rahm hits and Rahm has to step up, I think Rahm
probably does
capitalizes on that door being creaked open.
Yeah.
And, man, John Rahm is on a tear right now, dog.
He's that dude.
He got the number one, ranking again. He said, this is mine. I don't want anybody else having this. Scotty Scheffler, nice win at the Waste Management, but I've won 5 out of my last 8 starts on the PGA Tour.
Oof.
I mean, dog, you can't.
How do you go against that guy, dog?
He has 3 wins already this current season on the PGA. He's the fastest player to get 3 wins since Johnny Miller did it in, I think, 84 or 75 or somewhere in that year. I think it might have been 75 when Johnny Miller did it. Unbelievable, bro. Unbelievable. What he's doing right now.
It's unbelievable, Jay. This dude, dog, at his worst, was still championship level yesterday. He had a 69. Didn't play well.
I mean, that's pretty good, dog. That's 3 under round.
But for the world's number 1,
that's on a Sunday, bro. That's good. I think
he could have easily shot a 65. You and I know that. If he plays really well in that back 9, he shoots a 65, 66, right? Easy. And because he is that dude, you know what I mean? And even at that level where he's just a little bit off, still better than another guy's best, right? To go out there and get a nice championship, man.
Love it, man.
Cool tournament.
He has that championship pedigree, bro.
Cool tournament.
It's Tiger-esque.
Yeah, it really is.
What he's able to do, man. So, I mean, and the season's just started.
Oh, it's going to be great.
Does Jon Rahm win multiple majors this year?
If I had to bet on it, if we both had $100 on the table and we had to bet on it, I would bet yes. More than anybody else in the field.
What 2 majors, if you had to pick, what 2 majors do you think he wins?
I think he wins the Masters.
Wow.
I think he wins the Masters. I told you earlier, dog, and I said it last week, I'm going to continue to ride this guy, dog. He is focused on dominating. Not being the world's number one, not winning a tournament here and there. He wants to dominate this season. He is locked in focus. And that locked in focus is, again, the eye of the tiger. That guy's going to go out there and win big tournaments. So I think if he does win 2 majors, it's the Masters, and he probably wins the U.S.
The U.S. Open and the Masters.
Yeah.
I'll go out on a limb and say if he wins 2 this year, he'll win both the Opens, the U.S. Open and the Open.
Yeah, it could be. It could be. But I just think that he's after the big stuff this year, you know?
Nah, he's after it all, dog. He's after it all. Yeah. And anybody that's in his ways
he's going to get smoked.
Yeah, dog.
Real quick, before we wrap on the golf, bro, what were your thoughts on Collins' last 2 rounds? Because it looked like he was going to be able to be in that top 10 and
Morikawa?
finish. Yeah, and be in contention that final day, and just didn't have it.
That's another guy that, we could be talking about like this, how we're talking about, Jon Rahm and Scotty Scheffler and all these guys, but recently he hasn't had his best game. He kind of fell apart at a tournament out in Hawaii. I think it was a Sony, where he just had the lead, like a 6-stroke lead, and just gave it all up and completely had a meltdown. But he closed out on Sunday 4 under in the last 3 holes. He went eagle, he went birdie, eagle, birdie to close out his day. So and then I think he ended up moving up the leaderboard with that. He ended up in the top 10, but. I mean, the kid has it too. You talk about a guy that can win multiple majors this year. It's Colin Morikawa too.
He already has 2 on his belt.
Correct, and there's no reason why he can't go out there this year and win the PGA Championship and the U.S. Open.
True.
He can do it. Cantlay, you saw your boy Cantlay come in and backdoor at top 5.
I know, bro. You were hating on that.
Not that I'm hating on him, bro. He's just a boring player. He's not my favorite player to watch. But you see the guy, bro, like quietly, calladito. He's top 5 here. Yeah. He just backs in
every day.
Make way.
Let me get my check, please.
Yeah, dog, and but it's exciting right now. There's a high level of play going on right now.
Yeah.
I think the PGA has stepped it up now because of the whole live thing, and it's only good for us, the fans.
Hey, man. I mean, look, you and I were talking about it that whole day yesterday, even until today, right? We still got some detective work to figure out what the hell that shit is that we were trying to figure it out. But once we get it, it's just going to intrigue us to watch it even more and see how it changes,
and
right?
What that number means.
And what that number means, man. Yeah, golf. Golf is fun and hard. Golf is fun and hard, man.
That's what she said.
Yeah.
Let's wrap it up.
That's
dog. Also what she said. Hey!
This guy's killing it off camera today. Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys.
We're going to bleep that one.
Yeah. Thank you, guys, for tuning in, as always. If you haven't already, go to our YouTube channel. Hit that subscribe button. We got some great interviews coming down the pipeline. We just locked one down with Lorenzo Medina. Shout out to the Giant Killer. Shout out to Jay at Goodfellas Barbershop and Javi. And go check that out, man. You got to tell a friend.
To tell a friend.
To tell another friend.
To tell one more friend.
About this amazing podcast and where they can find it. Of course, follow us on all the social medias like I said earlier. And until next time, peace.